A diamond is forever. That phrase sparked a $72 billion a year industry. It's an industry that's wholly unique because the marketing scheme revolves completely around an idea rather than the product itself. So nobody actually needs a diamond. But when we get married, it's something that's expected in society. If you get married, you're going to deliver a diamond because diamonds now represent love and eternity. I think we can learn a lot from the diamond industry in that regard. So no matter how good your product is or your service is, you can make more sales, you can provide more services if you get behind the idea of marketing and creating this idea of desire and necessity, even when it's not. So today we're going to get to talk to my best friend Nihal, and he's going to give us the inside scoop on what it's like to sell diamonds because he's a diamond wholesaler. So stay tuned. My bad. And it's a SunTrust, right?
Yeah,
so
and that's including insurance and all that.
Yo, CEO.
I was so hyped when I saw the new jersey.
I'm here with Nihal. This is my best friend. He's also the CEO of Derev, a high-end jewelry line. And he's also my favorite fighter. And fighting is my favorite sport. So thanks so much for doing this with me.
No worries, bro.
But before we get into the diamonds, I really want to talk to you about fighting because that's how we got to know each other, right?
That is true.
So my cousin was actually friends with you, and I'm obsessed with fighting. It's, to me, the most pure sport there is. You know, there's a clear winner. There's something really beautiful about it. It's not just the violence that I like. I love the discipline it takes to get to that point, the technique, all of that. When I found out that my cousin had a friend that did this for a living, like, I had to meet you.
Yeah.
And I think it was right before your WKA championship.
It was.
Fight,
It was a couple weeks. We were at the club, hanging out and stuff, and yeah, Tim was like constantly like, my cousin wants to meet you. He's a lawyer. He wants to represent you.
I was supposed to be your agent.
Yeah, exactly.
And you crushed my dream.
I'm sorry. When I first heard it, he didn't really give me too much info on you and stuff. So I thought maybe just some kid who graduated out of college because you look so young. I could not believe you were that
I remember
age.
that. You thought that I was your age.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It is definitely. Yeah, and then after that we just became really good friends.
Yeah, and I think we got really close because I like to consider myself to be someone who's disciplined, who works hard, and I know what it takes to, I know you never got your first pro fight, but even as an amateur, to reach the level of being a champion, it takes a tremendous amount of skill, training, all that,
yeah,
right?
For sure. I
so
mean, just
I
to get in there.
immediately felt a connection with you. Why did you get involved in fighting?
I grew up doing Taekwondo when I was 5 years old. My dad's always been a huge martial arts fan. Bruce Lee is probably one of his favorite.
Oh, your dad's into martial arts?
Yeah, he's really into it. Well, he said he always wanted to do martial arts, so he put us in martial arts. So we grew up with that. Basically, in between time when I moved to Atlanta from Kentucky, because that's where I started Taekwondo, I didn't pick it up. I didn't stay with it, you know? 12 years later, again, one day I was bored in the summer. I was like, I'm gonna go try it out, Yeah. I guess I still got the hands. I can still fight a little bit. And that was not the case. I got beat really bad my first week training. I remember everybody took my ass to town during sparring.
What made you want to keep going after you get your ass beat?
I have a big ego, probably. It's just kind of like I can't stand that I like got beat so bad.
Right before your championship fight, right before WKA, you're going in there. Like, what goes on in your mind? Is it fear? Is it like happiness, joy, or are you just like blank? Like,
man, it depends on the experience, you know. Like I can tell you, my first time it was like a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. Then as you like, you know, every fight you get like this notch on your belt. You're like more confident. You're more like, you know, like I'm gonna get it. You know, especially if you put in all the hard work and training. You know, that really makes your confidence high.
I love that, because hard work never betrays you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only confidence you really get in that kind of chaotic situation. Like, all right, I did all the conditioning, I did all the training, I mentally prepared myself. I know that I did all these little things, so that's my confidence. I go in there when I go and fight.
And then show out.
Exactly, that's it.
I remember when you were training, you hurt your knee, turned into the size of a watermelon, and that kind of like, because you were about to actually get your first pro fight. You were in negotiations.
I had a couple offers, you know, from
I was excited. I was really excited during that time.
It was a really exciting time too. It was nerve-wracking, you know, trying to get to that next level. So it was, but you know, things happen, and I had to make a decision. Like,
and that's
you know,
another tough choice to make. Actually,
it's a really hard choice, because basically, you know, like 6-7 years of doing the same thing, and then like one day you're like, I'm gonna stop and do this new journey, this new adventure, start from the bottom again. You know, you have to reinvent yourself. Yeah, you have to reinvent who you are. And
so the obvious question to me then is, why diamonds?
I mean, it's a family business. You know, there's a lot of factors that went into it, and just personally for me, I just felt like it was the right decision at the time.
You know, and you heard me talking about it. It's not about selling a product; it's about selling an idea. But for me, when I think about that, to me that's more about retail. But in your line, it's actually more transactional, because you're selling to the retailers as a wholesaler, right? So how do you advertise that?
It's a little bit different, but not too much. At the end of the day, you're still giving the same campaign. You're still giving on emotion and feeling, because most product, it doesn't matter if it's diamonds, if it's a service, if it's a clothes, you know, if it's your car. You have to feel good when you buy it. If you don't feel good about buying something, no matter how much utility it has, you're not gonna buy it.
We definitely have to talk about your line, Derev.
Yeah.
You know? So we know I know Jewelry Land. That's your father's business. That's how you got into the game.
Exactly.
But let's talk about Derev. How did this happen?
You know, it's been something me and my dad, we've talked about for a pretty long time, about doing my own line and my own little project, because, you know, he's already established one division, and you know, I think it's a successful business, especially when you have like, you know, 2 sons that are in it now, and me and my brother in it. It's smart to, you know, diversify and try to expand to different markets. For me, it's kind of a little bit more of a passion project too, because we get to do a different line of jewelry, we get to venture with different customers, and it's kind of like I'm putting my own mark on what my father already started. I get to add to what he did instead of just carry on what he's doing already. I get to do that plus make my own name for myself.
But that's how you differentiate the crocodile stuff?
Well, I just keep mine in the crocodile trays having different markets, you know, like ordering.
Why do we like ice so much? What is that?
You know what? If somebody told you to like it, no, we all like it. But
it's
actually,
so crazy like that, because
Yeah,
it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't keep you warm.
Utility in a product is not going to always be there. Like fashion, like that Louis bag, you know, somebody told you it's worth it. Yeah, it may have good material, but is it worth really what it's worth?
No, it's not.
Diamonds don't have utility, but you know, that time when you propose to your wife or girlfriend at the time, you know, those moments you capture on camera, that feeling you get when you give it a present, you know, to your mom, to your wife, to your cousin, your sister, your
It's
graduating
invaluable.
nephew, that championship ring that you have on.
Yeah.
Those feelings you can't manufacture. That
Yeah,
time
can't put a price on it.
You can't put a price on it.
My whole like show is about like empowering young people to do what they want, to like stake out on their own, create their own path, create their own businesses. What advice can you give the young generation about, you know, getting into this? I mean, to me, it's a really hardcore cutthroat industry. you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of routes, obviously, you know, so definitely figure out what you want to do. On top of that, you know, be mad passionate about it, have mad drive, that internal pressure to go forward, because once you figure out what you want to do, you can find the path to it pretty easily, even if you don't have all the opportunities or support behind you. Know your product, know your customer, and know what you want. And at the end of the day, that's going to take you really far, in my opinion. I mean, if I really say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it at the end of the day. That's all that matters.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do that, man. Good luck with everything, with the rev. I know you're not training anymore, but if you do, you know, you can call me to be your agent.
Oh, for sure, for sure. When I get my super $1 million fight, you'll be the first I call.